Thanks for listening to Towards Fellowship for the week of February the 11th through the 17th, 2018. Towards Fellowship is the Ministry Connection podcast of Fellowship Bible Church. Hi, this is Pastor Scott. Well, here we are in week 7 of the Quiet Time Diary, and we're studying together 2 Corinthians 9, verse 1 through chapter 13, verse 14. And as our kids are studying through the quiet time and all throughout our quiet time diaries this week, one of the things that kind of jumps off the page is the importance of living others focused and also giving. So we as believers, how do we live others focused? How do we talk to our kids about living others focused? How do we talk to our kids about giving? Well, good question. We can do this together by giving enthusiastically of what we have with an attitude of humility. And we can be giving of our time. We can be giving of our spiritual gifts. We can be speaking words of encouragement to our kids. These are all ways that we can be encouraging our kids to live others-focused lives and to be giving of what God has given to us. Important to talk to our kids about the fact that God sees our hearts and knows what we do both publicly and in secret. And we show His love best when we're building up one another. And you can find questions relating to our Quiet Time Diary in the Family Devotion section of Fellowship Together. So we would encourage you to follow that as well. Also important to be talking to our kids about giving and communicating why we give. That's an important facet of all this as well. This will come up in conversation naturally when we're seeking out opportunities to put others first, and as we're giving generously of ourselves just in our day-to-day lives. So lots to be talking to our kids about from our passage in the quiet time this week, 2 Corinthians 9 through chapter 13, verse 14. This past Sunday in kids' Sunday school, the kids were learning about David and how God saw David's heart and how God called him to be a king, even though David wasn't the obvious choice to everyone else. So everyone else thought that David's brothers should be king, and that's not what God thought. So even though David was anointed king in this passage that the kids went through this past Sunday, he still humbly served God and King Saul by using his gift of music. So David was ready to serve God, but just humbly stayed in the place where God was and being faithful to God as he awaited. So we can be talking to our kids about the fact that no one is too important or too busy to use the gifts that God has given to them while they're waiting for whatever God has in store for them in life. In our 5th and 6th grade ministry this past week in Ignite, Steve will be talking to the kids a new series on a believer's guide to love. And this Wednesday, Steve will be talking about the fact that God loves you first. In third place, junior high on Wednesday night, Adam will be continuing his series in the Beatitudes, focusing on the meek. And in third place, senior high on Wednesday night, Pastor Justin will be in the small group time. All the kids will be in the small group time, talking about what they heard about last week on prayer and meditation. In third place, Sunday school, this past Sunday, the teens are going through their continuing series on 1 Corinthians, and this past Sunday they were talking about head coverings and cultural worship, part 2. So let's be engaging our kids in all that they're learning this week. Let's be setting great examples ourselves by making sure that our kids are seeing us in the Word, that we're talking to our kids about not just what they're learning in school, but what they're learning in their Bibles and in their quiet times. Let's really be focusing on meshing our faith with real life as we go throughout our week. So this was the Towards Fellowship podcast for the week of February the 11th through the 17th. Thanks for listening.